What is this video going to be about? My survival Minecraft world. Some special traits of said world? Yes, the world is 2 years old and I've been playing it pretty consistently, although not every day consistently. You will see some cool builds, you will see some builds that are not finished quite yet, or projects that aren't finished. You will see some projects that made me lose my sanity. Actually just one of them, and there's a separate video on it. Why do I sound dead inside? I don't know, I'm probably just tired. Anyway, let's start the video. The video is supposed to be a world tour, but I guess there's going to be quite a lot of moments where I just look back at the world and come back to the memories. So the spawn, where's the spawn? Right here. So that's the beginning of the world. I'm kind of surprised I still haven't built anything here. And now if we fly in this direction from the spawn, we'll see this. So the main star of the show here is obviously the house. We'll come to that in a little bit. First, my very beginnings. This little hole right here. Yeah, it was 2 chests, a bed, some furnaces, and then a mine. That's pretty much how I always start my survival worlds. For some time I was just going down, mining, and coming back, and after that I've built a farm here. I've just stepped on the... You know what, never mind, let's continue. This is my horse. It's terribly slow. Look how slow he is. He doesn't go any faster than this. I'm not sure why have I even decided to keep it in the first place. Well, if I remember correctly, back then I didn't even know that horses could have different speeds. Can you jump over this fence? He can, so he doesn't jump too terribly, but he's like the slowest horse I've ever seen, actually. We're just gonna leave him there. I don't think I've actually ridden him, like, almost at all. I don't remember a single time I've ever taken him somewhere. Oh, so the next thing I've built was my, like, first kind of proper base, which was this house. I've spent a long time here doing pretty much just nothing but exploring, which was one of the things I liked to do a lot back in the days. I was pretty much just traveling and coming back here and then doing some things like fishing for enchanting books, because that was how I actually got enchantments. And that was quite a long time ago, but I did used to get them that way. But then eventually I think it was because I've started watching Mambo's videos that I've actually became interested in building farms and automatic systems that could do things for me. Jeez, that was a lot of eggs. Why can you not shoot eggs faster? Is it like a bedrock thing, or is it because of lag? I mean, yeah, it is quite laggy around here. This is actually the first farm I've ever built, and it's... Don't pick up the eggs. This is like one of the most cruel farms you could possibly build in Minecraft. You pretty much just... When a chicken makes an egg, you take it away from him the moment he does it, and then you do... Oh, see, this is what happens to the little chickens. They pretty much stand in this half a meter by 1 meter by 1 meter piece of space, and then the moment they grow up, they just pretty much burn to death. And then you collect their flesh. It's a very humanitarian design, as you can probably tell by maybe not thousands, but at least hundreds of chicken crammed up in these little spots. Oh, and the best thing is that there's no entity cramming by default on Bedrock, so they don't die, they just stay there. After I've built the chicken farm, I've made this little pen, or is it a pen? I'm not... Okay, I don't know English again. I've built the furnace as well. It's automatic, it's not that big, but, you know, it's automatic, always something. I've also made this sugarcane farm, and also this bamboo farm. And I think I've also... Yeah, there's a cobblestone generator right here. It's actually the only one in this whole world. I've never built a second one because I've never felt a need for it. It hasn't broken in all the updates. A functional cobblestone generator. It's not the fastest one by a long shot, but it is functional. But eventually exploring got pretty boring, because that was pretty much the only thing I was doing, and as fun as it could be, it becomes boring at some point. That's the bottom line here. And this world is actually the first one that I've ever defeated a dragon in. This is his face. And after I've killed the dragon, I've made this. And in case you didn't notice yet, this is a dragon egg. One of two ones I have actually. And I haven't cheated them or glitched them out, but there are two of them because of a bug. But I wasn't duping anything intentionally or anything like that. Oh, and there's also this little thing. I built like a smaller base in the side of a mountain. And it's just this, with a creeper face. And shortly after I've killed the Ender Dragon, I have decided I wanted to do something more monumental, would probably be a good word. And also something bigger in general than this little house right here. As much as I liked it, it wasn't really that impressive. So now we get to the interesting part of the world, probably the most interesting one. We just need to hop into the nether and make a quick fly, dodging all of the angry pigs to the fortress that's nearby. And in the fortress, there's another portal. Oh, before we go, okay, it's actually quite dark here. This is a small little blaze farm. Not really a farm, just a grinder. They spawn up there. There's a spawner, and then they fall, and then you kill them. And that's it. I hear them. Give me your toes. The noises you heard are pistons, because they're being pushed by pistons to this little block right here. Pretty boring, honestly. Okay, let's just go through the portal. Okay, so... oh, and it's nighttime as well. Perfect. Okay, so if you've seen my netherite beacon video, you've probably seen this base already. Oh gee, no, ray tracing actually kinda breaks at night. But it does look gorgeous, with all of the lights. And building all of this took a pretty long time, because it's pretty much just a city. And the best thing about this is that every single building, almost, apart from this one, which is my house, has a farm inside it. So for example, this one, which is the first one I've built here, I think, apart from the lower parts of this, is a sugarcane farm, which is also pretty basic. It's actually, I think, the exact same design as the one I've used at my old house. It's not too efficient in terms of drops, it's not too efficient in terms of resources you have to use. But again, it's working, and this time I've built it on a bigger scale. And I actually still sometimes use the sugarcane from here to make paper for my rockets. And if you couldn't tell, I was still in the phase when I was being inspired by Mambo Jumbo a lot. The style of the base is based on the style of his Hermitcraft Season 6 base, with the white concrete and grey concrete and lime terracotta stuff and all of that, and end rods and sea lanterns. And I think it's actually one of my favorite building styles I've ever used and seen. It just looks so cool. Especially with ray tracing, and if you build it on water. Actually, let's take a dive. I think I took out the conduit, so we shouldn't see... that's a creeper. Yeah, I've never actually properly spawn-proofed some of those buildings. There's a super smelter, by the way, in this building. Two ones, actually. One for ores and one for everything else. Okay. Under the water we go. The performance drops, which is to be expected. But it looks amazing, and... the main storage area of this base is actually underwater. I absolutely love this, but at the same time it's like one of the least practical things you could do for a storage system. Especially with the layout, because like you see there's some chests here, there's some chests here, and then there's some chests over there. Let's say I wanted to craft... what could I want to craft? I actually need some water, some air. There was a conduit there, right beneath the floor here. You can still see it. Where the dolphin is. That's the conduit cage. I removed it because night vision was kind of ruining the look of this base. Okay, back to my point. I don't know. I just wanted to grab some meat, you know, and then I wanted to get some concrete to build. I had to swim across the entire thing, grab some concrete, and then I could go back up. And that's not pretty efficient. Especially since you're slow under the water. On a positive note, it all looks very cool. Okay, which one is the water elevator down? It's not really a water elevator, it's just a drop down. Yep, it was this one. This is a small area that's kind of like my trophy room. Not really a trophy room. It's just something that I've built because I felt it would be cool to have a room like this. with like an aquarium, some armor stands, and the map of the entire thing. Ray tracing's kind of messing things up again. Now it looks normal. It doesn't look that big on the map actually. I've planned to make this whole thing bigger, and I still want to make one final building here. That's probably going to be the biggest one of them all, but that's not a job for now. And in this chest we should, yeah, some of my old gear. That's like a chest of fame where gear retires. Oh, the memories again. The fish are still there. Okay, some more interesting farms or buildings in this base. Which ones would I choose? One of the most important ones was definitely this, and this as well, because they are both general mob farms. So I've used them for a lot of things. I've used them for gunpowder, for bones, for string, and all of that sort of things. This is a kelp farm that I've used as my fuel source and actually my food source as well, which was a very bad decision because I didn't really know how saturation worked back then. My entire idea of this was that if it takes less to eat, because if you didn't know, kelp takes less to eat physically per one piece of kelp, then it must be better. But the problem is that as soon as you pretty much start doing anything, your hunger drops again because there's no saturation whatsoever. This is a melon pumpkin farm, by the way. The first one of the two I've built, and it's broken because Enderman from this farm kept teleporting here and then just stealing the dirt. And then the water spills down and destroys the tracks with the minecarts underneath them, so there's no way to collect anything. There's still some leftovers though. Those are bamboo farms. What else? Oh, that one is a little bit interesting. Hold on, let me grab my trident real quick. Zoom. This is the second melon pumpkin farm. It's a multi-layout design. Multi-layer actually, not layout. English, yes. Everything grows here. And then, from time to time, the pistons fire and destroy everything, and then there's minecarts below. You can't see them, but they collect everything, and then they come back, and then everything gets deployed into the chest. Actually, there's no chest right now. Everything goes into this dropper, which then... Oh, yes. I need to show this. There's a pretty smart system. I mean, it's not that smart, but I'm not sure why, but I'm really proud of this. Or at least I was when I built it for the first time. Oh, you can even see them right now. Everything from the dropper gets dispensed into this water stream. And then gets transported to my villager trading hall, where I would sell the melons and pumpkins for emeralds. We have another piston door, and here are my villagers. The minecarts and zombies you hear are here. And they are here because I can convert, because with the setup like this, hold on, I need to make it out of this hole. I can choose a villager, so this is a lever for this guy. I can drop him down. Oh, I think the zombie, there's no zombie that minecart. There's sometimes despawn, okay. So I just saw a zombie here. We can use this lever on this guy, and then the zombie can hit him. And then the zombie can convert him into a zombie villager, and then we can cure the villager. And if you didn't know, curing a villager gives you discounts, which means you can sell not really a lot for a lot of emeralds, and vice versa, you can buy a lot for not a lot of emeralds. When it comes to buildings, obviously the main part of the base looks epic. This island is pretty cool as well, like a skyblock taken out of the ground with a house on it. I've never used the house for anything, it's here purely for decoration. And I think it serves its purpose very well. And actually in the hall below the skyblock island is a little garden. Ouch. Just a small little cozy place. One of my favorites in this whole base. Favorite ones, I think that... Okay, that's Enderman. This big thing right here is a bee farm. But it's not automatic. I have an automatic bee farm, but it's somewhere else. It's in this base though. And this place I've used mostly for breeding bees actually, and then transporting them over to the second farm. It looks cool. I've decorated it to make it look like some sort of a garden. I think it should be a little bit lushier, more lush. But it still looks okay. It's also one of my favorite buildings, especially the interior. The automatic bee farm is not really a bee farm, honey farm. It's right next to the villager trading hall. It's this building right here. Another very humanitarian design. Well, if there's 3 bees for 1 beehive, then each bee has 1 cubic meter of space to live. And you know, now that I think about it, it's not that actually that unhumanitarian, which I'm surprised by. So maybe it actually is humanitarian, although I'm not sure how much space does a Minecraft bee require compared to a more properly sized one. Just look at them. Just imagine a bee of this size in real world. It will be the size of your head, or bigger. Okay, I would be terrified. Oh, a fish died here actually. I would be terrified. Like, those bees are actually kinda cute, but if I saw a bee the size of my head in real life, I would just run. Oh, and a cool little thing about it, the honey gets transported here, and then the lamps show how much honey there is. This is a netherwort farm, and the reason I need a netherwort will become apparent when you'll see my current base in a little bit more detail. Oh, and one last thing, there's a garden on top of this building as well. It's also one of my favorite places here in this base. I'd actually quite like listening to music, leaving my Minecraft guy in here, playing Pickstep and chilling out. Oh, and one more last thing. Here's the second egg. On the top of this base. The bug was that pretty much if you respawn the dragon, it will leave an egg upon defeating as well. Not just the first dragon, but every single other respawned one. It's fixed now, and I got only 2 eggs out of that. But I mean, it's still more than you should have in your survival world, so... Okay, so now, should I show the other farms? Nah, they aren't really that interesting. Oh, but before we go to my current base, I want to show you one other building. We need to use this highway. Just the only 2-block wide highway I've built in this world, actually. And it ends with a portal, which you can go through, and you come out here. In the mesa biome. Just a house in the mesa biome that I've decided to build because I just felt like it. And it's pretty much nothing else, it's just a small house, which looks pretty nice and serves almost no purpose whatsoever. Although it kind of had a purpose. In the sense that, okay, I need to go to sleep to show you that. This part doesn't really look that natural for a mesa biome because, well, especially this thing. That's a beacon pyramid, and I've used to get terracotta from here, for my base. The first one, the one that I've built on the water. And I was also taking terracotta from over there. I've actually probably scrapped away more landscape from here than from over there. Okay, that's it for the mesa biome. And now we go back. At the speed of light. And then if we go this way, that's the portal to the end portal, by the way, but there's nothing in the end currently. I have plans for it. And then after we take the highway, we arrive here, and here we have a portal and this one little building, which is a Piglin trading hall. Not really a trading hall, I just got some Piglin slaves and then I dropped them gold and then they give me stuff back. There's not really that much stuff in here because I took most of it out and it's now at my main base, the one I currently use as my main. And my main base is on the other side of this portal, which is right here. That was a magma cube that just died. Anyway, here is the base. It's a big cathedral-like thing made out of blackstone and red nether bricks, which are the reason I needed so many nether warts, because in order to make red nether bricks you need standard nether bricks and red nether warts, just nether warts. First you walk in, there's a garden that's stylized to look a little bit like hell and a little bit like it's dead. I really like how it turned out, but I don't like the fact that you need strings below every single one of those things. I could just probably like use a texture pack that removes them, but I've never actually been bothered enough to find one. You have those cool little statues. Well, not really little, they're like several meters tall, but whatever. You have statues, and then you walk in. And you actually have a somewhat well-organized storage system. It's much bigger than my previous one for sure. It was supposed to be automated at first. There are sorting systems behind all of those chests, and there are water streams that actually go below the floor here and then continue from here. But I've encountered problems, which is, you know, kind of normal when working on redstone, especially on Bedrock Edition, and they were tied to some bugs which you could find the workarounds for, but I couldn't be bothered enough and I just decided I will sort everything manually. And the funny thing is that one of the main reasons that I built this base for in the first place was to have an automated storage system, and it doesn't even have that at the moment. I find it kind of funny, even if it really isn't. I have a little living area up there, up those stairs. You can also take a water elevator here, which is probably the preferred way to go up, because going up the stairs is pretty annoying. You have a bed there, some decorative blocks, you have a jukebox as well, because as I've already said, I like listening to music in-game, and like the proper in-game music with discs. We have a table for brewing, nothing really special. We have some furnaces, not really a super smelter. I want to build one, but I haven't really got time to do that for, I think, obvious reasons, if you've watched the video. So yeah, just a couple of furnaces, and there's a little... Well, that was the project I was working on. Not really a project, that was just the second part of the base, because... Well, this base was and is still supposed to have two main parts. One part is the storage system in the living area, which is this part, obviously. And then the second one is supposed to be a giant cave that is overgrown, probably, with those red types of stuff. And it's supposed to have villagers, farms, super smelters, and all of that sorts of things inside. I have the whole dug out, mostly, but when I was about to finish it and then start actually building something in here, I've decided that I will mine out a netherite beacon. And for some reason I've committed to that. And speaking of the netherite beacon, ouch, here it is. This place is supposed to be some sort of a marketplace or like a main square of a city, because the original plan was to have this building and then lots of smaller purely decorative buildings around it, like those ones that I have already planned out here, as you can see. But again, I've never actually really got to do that because of the beacon, and now that I've built it, I'm starting to actually build something in here. So there's not really that much here at my second base currently, because I've spent so much time on the beacon. There's this little carrot farm that I've used for farming carrots, pretty self-explanatory, I think. There's also the gold farm, which I've actually almost never used, because shortly after I built it, I've started mining netherite and I was just collecting the gold as I was blowing up the depths of the nether. And now they die. I've used this for XP as well, not just for gold. And then we also have the mostly gunpowder, but also other things farm, which I've obviously used in the beacon project. That was the source of my gunpowder. It's much more efficient than the ones I've had at my old base. Oh, and one last thing. I will show you 6 months of work. I mean, this was 6 months of work. But like, that's one part of what's left after those 6 months. I've probably traveled between my current base and this place more times than I did between my old base and my new one, which was a hard thing to beat. Hold on, let me turn RTX off because it's too dark with it on. Excuse me. Tunnels. As you can see, there are tunnels that go mostly right. Actually, I think all of them go right. There's one. There is one. They are all spaced out by 16 blocks, because that's the amount of blocks in one chunk. Let's pick just a random one to show you how long they are. Like, this goes on for hundreds of blocks, and there's one every single chunk. And like the root tunnel of all of them goes on for, I think it was more than 1,000 blocks. Oh, the memories, the trauma, almost. Very recent memories. What was it, like a month ago? Or maybe slightly more. And I've completed the beacon. Please don't shoot. No. Wait, what? I've still heard the explosion for some reason. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how my survival world currently looks. This place should have been more complete by now, definitely, but I've spent a lot of time working on this thing. The city would have probably been mostly built by now, but at the same time I'm kinda glad I actually didn't build it, because Deep Slate, which is the new block that's supposed to be a thing in 1.17, which comes out soon. The first pre-release actually came out just a couple of days ago, before the filming of this video. And Deep Slate fits really well with the building style I'm going for here. So the city will be built later, but it will look better, hopefully. So yeah, That's it. You're still watching? Or did you maybe just skip the video right to the end to see what's here? Did you skip the beginning and only saw the best buildings? Are you not interested in my first house? Are you not? Are you sure? Anyway, thank you for watching. And if you genuinely watched the whole thing, then maybe subscribe?